Here's how I ran a 16:47 5K. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of break it down, and this is not your typical video. This is not the whole like strategy and like the exact training plan and the specific workouts I did. I think that has its place. That's not my favorite part, not the most exciting part. So this is like the other things, okay, which I don't think a lot of runners focus on, and I think this is like the key to unlocking how to get really freaking fast. So I'm gonna show you how to do it. And here are the big four things, big four things that you need to change in your life to actually see yourself get faster beyond like not changing anything that is like running training plan relating. Okay. So number one, and I call this whole thing the college model. Okay. Because my big idea is like, most people like physically on a sport, a lot of people sadly peak in college, right? They get their fastest, and it's because the model is set up so freaking well for you to succeed. Okay, so we're gonna break down that model and how can we take those pieces and put it into our real life. Because like I'm a mom of one now, like I have a kid, I've a job, like I run a run coaching business too. Like I have so many things going on my plate. So what can we take from that and like how can we integrate it into real life and actually make it work for us today and not just in college? Okay. So the biggest thing that I think that you have to do, number one, is we gotta have a community. And we have to have a community that like really supports our goal. And I'm not just talking about like signing up for your like local moms running group. You have to find like a running group that is like better than you currently are. And that's like what made me succeed in high school and college was like I joined these teams and they were better than me, they had bigger goals, they were faster, and it made me level up because I was surrounded by all of these like crazy freaking big people. Like when I joined, when I went to Augustana D2 college for running, they were going to nationals like every single year. And when I got there, I was like, oh, like I guess my goal is going to nationals now because you're just surrounded and you get part of that group and like their goals become your goals. And like I would have never thought I would have ended up 7th nationally. Like that was, if you'd have told freshman me that, like no, not possible. Okay. So you have to be in these communities that have bigger goals than you, that scare you a little bit and that have accountability, that show up. So like find the local running group that is like fast, that has these really big running goals, and you're like, oh god, like I don't even know if I'm like allowed to be in this group. That's the group you want to be a part, because it's going to force you into something like a bigger version, bigger, better, faster version of yourself. So find that running group. If you don't have a local one, like I host a running group that has like really big freaking running goals. So there's so many like online coaches too and communities where you can find that support, and you have to go to it and find it. You have to look and don't just like commit to the first one and be like, oh, I guess this is good enough. Like find that community, find that group. And even it can be like running adjacent, like being around people that just like also have really big running goals. Like for me, it's entrepreneurship. That is like, I find people that have really big goals for their, business where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like doing this with their business, they have this much together, and I feel like kind of small. Like that has made me level up so much more. Okay, number 2 is find a really freaking good coach that you align with, because they take all of that training off of your plate. Because like just like you have like other big things that you are also trying to be. You're trying to be a really good parent, you're trying to do really good in your business, in your career, and you're trying to also be a really good fit runner, like all this stuff. Like you already want so much out of your life. Hire the good freaking running coach that like really aligns with what you want, right? Like if your goal is to Boston qualify, it's to get 3 hours in the marathon. If it's to break 17 minutes in the 5K, find a coach that speaks to that. Don't just find, I get frustrated because there's so many coaches that speak to like the beginner runner. Nothing wrong with that. But if you've been in the game for a while and you want to get fast and you want to hit these big PRs, if you want to go to these big races, you have to have a coach that speaks to that. Don't just go to the like, yeah, I guess this coach is, no, like find someone who's good at it and find someone who has that like fire lit in them and join them, and then they take that off of your plate. Like we have so many things that we have to do. Like I'm not going to sit down and play, like also like my husband does my training. Like I also do this. I also outsource it because it's just something that you don't have to think about, and find a coach that you trust. If you don't trust your coach, don't hire them. That's like biggest thing you have to make sure you do. We'll go into that in another video. But like Find the coach, hire them, because they can take all that training off of your plate, and not just like the daily, the weekly planning, but they think in not just like one season, 1 4-month season, they think out of like the whole year. And that's what you want, is a coach who is looking, if you have a really big running goal, you have to be thinking more than just 3 months, more than just 1 year. They have to be continuing to stack successful season on successful season to get you faster. Like, you are not going to get 5 minutes faster in the 5K in one season. It's not possible, and unless you're like, a little further back. But if you want to get truly faster, you want to go all in, hire a good coach who thinks long-term and is aligned with your goals and who you are as a human, okay? Third one is to communicate your goals. And this is not, like, when I joined, like, in college, like, it was, my goal was already communicated. It was to go to nationals, it was to be an All-American, it was to place very high, all this stuff, right? It was to get faster. Like, I wanted to do well for my team, I wanted to get faster. And so, like, everyone else's goal was already that. We knew everyone had the same goal. We wanted to run faster, we wanted to be good, we wanted to be national competitors, all that stuff. So it wasn't something that you had to work for in college or like even high school, right? But nowadays, so many people keep their goals to themselves, and then they get frustrated when their spouse doesn't plan around them, or when their friends ask them to go on, stay out really late or get like a morning breakfast, and you're like, I have to get my long run in, I have to get to bed early, and all this stuff. So the more that you can communicate your goals with literally everyone around you, and I mean everyone, like your coworkers, your kids, your spouse, your friends, your mom, your dad, like just tell everyone your goal, because then when they ask you things, when they think about things, when they make plans, that can sometimes trickle in the back of their head. They're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't ask her that. Or maybe we should do a later brunch. Or maybe we should not stay out super late because I know Mac has to go on her long run in her morning. So you have to communicate your goals, because then people start to plan around you and for you if they want to hang out with you, if they want to do things with you, and they think about you. And then they also start to say, hey, I just heard about this really fast running group that's just like, a town over that I think you'd be really good at. So then when people know your goals, they help support you and they bring you in and they do all these things. So like, communicate, tell everyone your goals, because it's going to create a better environment around you. Okay. And then the last one is, this will be a level for everyone, but it's to outsource those boring, mundane, tiring tasks that you just don't need to do or that you don't enjoy doing. Because when we think about to like college, high school, middle school, right? You were part of a school system that made all of your meals. I don't know about your home situation, but like when you were at school, like you were given meals for you. That was done, that was prepared. And you had time to go outside. You had time to go to your sports. Okay, I'm thinking about general, I know this isn't everyone, but like your parents probably drove you to practice, or they made sure you got to bed on time, or they gave you a meal, or you didn't have to go, to work for 8 hours a day and take care of somebody else and do all these things that you now have to do as a parent. So you have to think of like, what do you do now as a parent that isn't very exciting, something that you can pay to outsource or that you can delegate to somebody else during those seasons, right? Can you have a meal delivery service? Can you get your house cleaned once a month? Doing all these like little things. Can you even like meal prep? How can you create a better sleep environment? How can you make sure that you're not doing all these, like, what things can you say no to so that they're not tiring? Because the biggest key to unlock and running when you want to get really freaking good, and which is like not talked about enough, is sleep, is recovery, is just downtime. And that allows your muscles to like reset, to recover, and your ability to recover faster and be able to push more and get faster. So you cannot become a great runner if you do not know how to recover, if you do not know how to sleep like 8 to 10 hours every night. Like that is like one of the biggest keys. Like you can get so much more sleep in college because you could go to bed early, you didn't have to like wake up, take care of the kids, all this stuff, right? And now not all of that stuff is possible, but what are the little things that you can do in your life to change that, to take some of that stress, that extra like stuff that makes you tired, right? And everyone's gonna have their own seasons, but like what season are you in? What can you outsource so that you can become the fastest, best version of yourself? Okay, so I hope that helped. Let me know what you thought was like the most helpful. And if you have any other like things you want me to talk about, any ideas, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I really love this model, and this part of running really gets me excited. So if you want more, subscribe. There's stuff down in the description for you too.